I Ty Billin, man, I'm starting to think the Atlanta Falcons may actually be playing chess while these other cats are out here playing checkers. They continue to add guys who were extremely talented in college who may have a chip on their shoulder from the lack of success that they've had to start their career and who are still young enough to where you feel like you can get the best out of them, kind of like the Mohamed Sanu situation from the Falcons. They continue to gobble up some of the SEC's best players of the past handful of years. And man, getting Charles Harris from Mizzou, that guy was absolutely wrecking shop when he was at Missouri. He was one of the, 4 or 5 like first and second round draft picks they had at the defensive line. Great pickup in my opinion. What could it hurt, right? You get a guy who's extremely talented. He was talented enough to be a first round draft pick. He only has a few sacks in the NFL, but man, you never know where that stems from. And we've seen players throughout the history of the NFL go on and get their chances elsewhere and show themselves to be worthy of what they were before. So we'll see about that. But man, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of a quick film study.
What more can I say?
Top Billin. All right, I know it's impossible to fathom, but me, myself, I always think, man, suppose these guys, right, it's only 3 or 4 years into their career. Suppose they reach back into becoming the prospect that they were, right, with just a little bit more seasoning, and we able to get this guy kind of retrofitted, right? Because coming out, this is the guy that I would have drafted originally anyway, right? Not Tack McKinley. It would have been this guy. This guy was killing it, but hey, you know what I mean? So sometimes it goes by where you go and you're fit with the coaching staff and all kinds of stuff. So retroactively speaking, you see here he was 6'3", 253 coming out with a 4'8", 240, that 4.42 20-yard shuttle. I like, man, 21 on the bench, 32 vert. He's an explosive cat, right? He's your classic edge player that you can get to come in kind of as a hired gun. He may be able to get you 8-10 sacks or something like that in a role like that, and that's what you need, man. You already got Tack McKinley, and you got Dante Fowler as well. I wouldn't mind seeing them maybe even add one more pass rusher. You just never know with injuries. And, of course, you got Marlon Davidson who can slide between the two. But I wonder if the acquiring of Charles Harris means that Marlon Davis will play more on the inside. But we can talk about that another time. All right, so what I like about Charles Harris, at least from his time in Miami, is that he was clearly a hired gun to come in certain situations, and they would let him rush past the 9. So having a guy like that you can put out there, put him in a motorcycle stance, work him out past the 9s, 3 or 4 point stance, be worth his weight in gold for the Falcons. Now check this out. Gives him half a man, keeps battling. It's like a combination sack, right? It's almost like a technique in a workman-like sack. He kept going. The quarterback looks like Cody Kessler from USC. I used to cover him at USC. He holds on to the ball, but look at that. This is what you want right there. It's that friction action. Give him half a man. All right. You let this guy show and tell with his hands right there, and you react to it. He shows and tell with his hands. He comes with the outside. Look at that. Simple move outside, push him back inside, continue to work upfield because you're taking a wide approach on a deep set, and then you outwork him. So you got a little bit of help, though. He ran into his own teammate back there who was getting pushed past the lap of the quarterback, and you keep working. Great job. All right, check this out right here. Now look how far this really illustrates it to me, right? So you get a guy like this who's explosive in his first 2 or 3 steps. It's going to cause problems for guys, especially when they're trying to push the ball down the field. Now you see this tackle here, right here. Check it out. Look, he has to pull the ripcord and abandon all technique because my man is flying. Put him in that 3-point stance. Look at that. He can't even check off to make sure. He's trying to check off and make sure there's no action coming his way. Now look at him. He can't even get into his proper kick phase. Look at that. Abandons all technique and just has to run after him and still can barely get a hand on him, and he turns the corner perfectly. Flying. Oh, nasty. Man, hopefully he's able to find that. That looks just like him at Missouri right there. Hopefully he's able to find that with the Falcons. All right, here we go again. Wide 9, working in a ton of space. Ooh, dip and rip on Eric Fisher. Let's go back on that. All right. Check it out right here. This is that late action, right? Check him out. Lull him to sleep, right? get tall with it, and then you just want to explode. Let him show. Look at that. Great timing, great hand timing, great hand placement to be able to knock that down and dip through. Boom, dip through, give him half a man, come up under. Now look at the leverage he has, right? Your man Fisher is almost parallel to the line of scrimmage. He's not going to be able to do anything with that. Smith is just a sitting duck right now. By the time he's able to react, even as good an athlete as he is, this kid's just too explosive. Now, does that mean that this is going to happen in Atlanta? I have no idea. I have no idea where this kid is at in his career. I don't know if injuries did it or not. I'm going to have to go back and check. It's not like I was watching every Miami Dolphin game to be able to tell you exactly what was going on with the reserve linemen. But I do know this kid and watched most of his games in college just from covering the SEC. And this is the type of ability and the type of stuff that I expected from him coming into the league as a first-round draft pick. So that's what I always think. This is what coaches do. They have egos. They're like, man, they was with the wrong person. When he gets with me, I'm going to make him like he was when he's supposed to come out the NFL. But not knowing that their own people weren't like that, like Attack McKinley and Vic Beasley and people like that. But that's just the ego of coaches. That should be the ego of everybody in the world. All right, we see him squeeze down against the run right here. Oh, just backside pursuit there, staying after it. Fisher climbing to the second level. So just pretty much leaves him unblocked. Squeezing down, getting after the run. I just want to say some run stuff and not just all pass rush stuff. But there you go, man. So what I like about this is getting these guys, and we can call it kind of a reclamation project between him and some other guys that I have to do. But you're getting these guys who are highly successful in the Southeastern Conference around a lot of talent. So would it be Hayden Hurst, Laquan Treadwell, now Charles Harris? These are some very good players at what people think is the pinnacle of college football or what they say. So these guys are going to have a chip on their shoulder, but you're adding in a ton of talent, and that's the goal with all the other talent that these guys have seen. Calvin Ridley, of course, Julio Jones, all throughout the Southeastern Conference, all up and down that roster. So I like that type of stuff. Deion Jones, it creates familiarity. And these guys are always used to going there and they want to prove themselves. Like, hey, man, I'm as good as this guy. I was as good as this guy in college and everything like that. So it's an interesting way to build a team and then take an approach and put guys with chips on their shoulders from a talented conference. But does that mean that it's going to work? Does not mean that it's going to work, but it's just an interesting way to take that approach. All right, so check back with me, man. I was actually working on some Laquan Treadwell type stuff. So check back for that here in the next day or so, all right? With that being said, it's your boy Murf, the Underground King. Let me know what you think about this particular one. Make sure you like and subscribe. Tell me in the comment section what you like about Charles Harris. Do you remember him at Mizzou and all that, all right? Other than that, peace.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.